This is episode 285 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my return guest, John Bianchi, with his daughter if you're watching on video. John is the founder of STR Search. At STR Search, they extract only the most valuable insights from the best data, ensuring they find short-term properties that produce high returns. He was also previously on the podcast, episode 219 on February 24th, 2025. The episode was so good, we're going again in 2025. John, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Obviously, we talk all the time. And I'm going to disclose up front, for any of you old schoolers who know the old commercials, John, you're not going to know this because you're Canadian. Cy Sperling, the hair club for men, he had this commercial where he said, "I'm not only the founder, but I'm also a client." So I'm going to tell you right now, I am a client of STR Search, but we're here to break it all down. And that may come up because it's just part of what happens on podcasts. I've actually invested in 3 syndications with one guest, 1 syndication with another, and I'm really into short-term rentals again after a long time away. So I'm excited to talk to you and go over some new material. The one thing I wanted to start with is, how does somebody decide when they're looking at short-term rentals whether they should just focus only on the yield? Is it just about what level of participation that they want? Because this is something that you and I go back and forth on all the time.
All the time. Yeah, what's funny is like I almost want to push it back over to you and be like, well,
yeah, what do you say?
So, you're essentially asking like, how does somebody decide what metric matters to them the most, right?
Yeah, well, so here, we'll put it this way, because I know what you guys do and you can produce something that's going to look like a great yield. But in order to get, in the medium low or to the high zone, it comes with like, you have to be good at operations. So you kind of have to know, like, are you ready to do what it takes to get it to the max? And if not, maybe you tread a little bit slower and do something that's a little bit safer.
Well, see, so you're looking at a market where that is very true, but I would say that there are actually a lot of other markets where you don't need to be the most elite operator, but as long as you have the right property set up, then you can dominate.
Is that like Smokies? Like,
no, Smokies, you want to be good. Smokies has crazy competition.
Yeah.
A good example would be like a C tier city where there's almost like no competition, but you put together an absolutely beautiful listing. And then when anybody goes there, they're like, well, that's the best of the best.
Right.
And they can clearly see it. And that makes it really easy to get the bookings that you want. It's still not going to be like the highest revenue generating property ever, but because the market is a C market, you are able to get the property at a significantly lower price and be able to still hit a good number. So anyways, like going back to the idea of like, well, how do we decide, if somebody's going to be a yield investor or not? Everyone's always coming to us and saying what they want the most. So we're always asking that question first, like, what is it that you care about the most? And then we try to craft a strategy and essentially a market and a property that revolves around that the most, right? So we've just been interviewing people we're hiring another acquisition role. And so we've been going through this one deal all day and it's top of mind. But it's a $1.5 million home that we're looking at that the yield, like the cash on cash, is between 4 and 11%. And
for year one?
For year one. Yes, correct. Now for this client, they make $800,000 a year personally. Right. And so their biggest concern is the taxes that they have to pay. And they're trying to figure out, well, how do I avoid doing that? And just from that one deal, they'll save roughly about $150,000 in taxes that they would have had to pay. Right now, they're still going to end up paying taxes, but that's a huge chunk that they get to avoid. So that's a huge component for them. But here's the thing: just because they get every single Airbnb gets tax savings, right? So like any $1.5 million home, as long as it's turned into short-term rental, gets the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The other component to this person was like it was in close proximity to what they wanted, right? And then it's not going to necessarily lose money. It's not going to make a crazy amount, but it's also in a good appreciating market. And so it's never really like, oh, I just want cash flow. It's more of like, okay, what's number 1? What's number 2? What's number 3? What's number 4? And now let's try to make that work. So for this person, yield was 4, right? The amount of due diligence you can do is never enough. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to feel as confident as possible. I find talking to zoning people is actually one of those like the biggest things to make you feel very, very good. You're just talking about the curb appeal and the neighbor with the properties across the street, right? So you're obviously in upstate New York, which is I almost never ever talk about the markets that we're in, just because we've helped people place so much money into these markets that I don't want to increase competition for them. But upstate New York is so complicated that I'm not
And
worried
there's
about it.
so many different
Oh
towns.
no,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah. And first of all, it's like this is a town, and then there's a hamlet inside the
right,
town, and then there's a city underneath this. It's
right.
a very intricate market. So
And
yeah, good luck.
exactly. Good luck. We're slowly peeling it apart and learning and diving deeper. It was the same thing for us in the Poconos. I always tell people trying to get into the Poconos is like walking across a field with a whack load of landmines. And it's like you got to know the path, right? And I feel like upstate New York is extremely similar to that. So I don't mind talking about this, but the 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 idea there of your neighbors being across the street have a whole bunch of like junk cars all over the place, and you're from New York and you just rented this like romantic secluded cabin, and all of a sudden you're like, well, this is not what I wanted, right? You get
Yeah.
two people to put that in the reviews, and you can call it a day, right? Like you're not going to be able to hit those revenue numbers anymore. And so yeah, it's very important to have the realtor be able to check that out. And we have the same thing in cities, right? So in these city markets, when people are going, we just want the neighborhood to not feel like the ghetto. As simple as that, right? Because the people are going to drive up, we want them to feel safe when they're there. And anyways, I was going to go into more detail on that, but yeah, it's the exact same idea in all these different markets. It's kind of, I mean, we do this in our own lives. I actually I try my best to avoid this. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, and for whatever reason you're off, and then you go out of the you're going into the shower and like you hit your foot a little bit against something. You're like, oh, this is gonna be a bad day, right?
Yeah.
I catch
Yeah.
myself every once in a while doing that. I go, nope, don't let me fall along that track, because then I'm gonna just see everything else as worse. But it's so easy
Yeah.
to fall on those tracks, and so many people do that, and they aren't even aware of it. And essentially, what we're trying to say is that first impression causes this sort of spiraling effect of everything getting worse and worse and worse. And so yeah, that I love talking about this at this depth, because a lot of people don't get that. They don't get it. They don't get that the property not only like when you put it together, when it's listed on Airbnb, when people are seeing it from that point of view, it needs to just be a wow factor. It needs to be like a, oh my God, like I cannot wait to stay here. Like this is what I've been waiting for two reasons. The first one is because like that's what you want people to feel inside, right? That's how you're going to get those good reviews. You're going to get that longer leash that we were just talking about. But that's also how you make money in Airbnbs, is by having the place that people are like, I need to stay here, because now they need to pay $500 a night for a one bedroom in this place that they need to go to, because it's going to be that amazing experience that they dream up in their head, that they see on Instagram or whatever it may be. And so that now they need to pay for it. And that's how you turn a profit, right? With a lot of these Airbnbs nowadays, not every Airbnb, but most of them need to be like that, right? You know what's interesting? As I'm thinking through this, right? There's this whole idea, like a lot of the group that we've been focusing on specifically for you to be able to hit your numbers are going to be that anniversary getaway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't just be a couple going away for the weekend. It's got to be that special occasion. They pay a premium because they want to create a memory, and you're giving them the space to be able to do that. You don't necessarily need to like create a scavenger hunt for them, but maybe there is something you can provide. But let's
Yeah.
just hypothetically say that there isn't. But the group that's always kind of bothered me, if I'm being honest, like, or it's
Yeah.
like I can't like figure it out, is the small families.
It's
So
tough.
you
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
the mom and dad, two kids, where a two bedroom work really, really well, right? You get a small price. But the thing is that families tend to not pay that anniversary premium to go to these places. They're like more on a budget. They got two kids. They're trying to like not do that. But what if you could turn that place into I don't want to keep saying scavenger hunt, but a theme of some sort that is a, even if it were to be like a 6 hour thing on the Saturday that they're trying to decipher. And so they get in Friday, right? They spend the time on Friday, then Saturday comes around. That's the thing they're doing at this place. They've gone to it just as if they would go to, an arcade room for the day. They've gone to your place to do this all day, and then the Sunday they leave. And so now you've gone and you've created this place where families are now willing to pay a premium, and now the property actually financially makes sense. This is I'm gonna have to
Yeah, I think this is something.
there's an there.